I don't want to generalize and say in all of Jamaica, but for the most part, we have a lot of broken families.
One of the things that helps me in this marriage with respect to Patois is that there are certain English fragments in Patois that helps me to understand the Patois. But my wife, she can't understand Tree at all. Like there is nothing in English, there's nothing in Patois in Tree.
Same with me. I've craved for Ghanaian food, especially the banku, the okra soup, the wachi, mutu. Yeah, like I crave for it sometimes.
And the last time you're talking about kokonte.
Kokonte.
You don't know kokonte and you're talking about kokonte.
I thought it was KK.
Kokonte is different.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Rich and Anna. And in today's video, we'll be talking about some of the cultural differences that we face in our marriage.
If you are currently in an intercultural marriage, especially you are African and you are married to someone from the Caribbean, I'm sure this video would be an interesting one for you and you're going to learn a lot of things from it. So make sure to stick to the video till the end.
You'll find that even if you're not married to someone from the Caribbean, you'll still encounter these challenges in your marriage or similar.
Let's get right into the video. When it comes to marriage, it's basically two people who have put together or have put away their differences to live together. There are so many things that could differ as far as the couples are concerned. One of the things is language. My wife is Jamaican, like you all know, and I'm Ghanaian, and she speaks Patois and English language only.
Right.
But in Ghana, we speak Twi, we speak Gan, we speak Ewe, we speak English as our official language. All right. But one of the things that helps me in this marriage with respect to Patois is that there are certain English fragments in Patois that helps me to understand the Patois. But my wife, she can't understand Twi at all. Like there is nothing in English, there's nothing in Patois in Twi at all. So it makes it very difficult for her to learn the English language from scratch as compared to me. Do you get it?
And also it plays a big role, for example, when I'm talking to my mother-in-law, for example, because her English is very limited and I don't know Twi. So it's kind of like we're speaking with the limited English that she knows and my husband has to translate the rest. So for example, she might say, hello, nice to meet you, and then the rest of the sentence might be in Twi. So I can understand the first part, but the second part my husband has to translate.
You know, she mostly says that I really want to speak to Anna, but my English is not good.
Right, and I really want to speak to her, but my Twi is like from scratch. And as my husband said, it's completely different from English. It's like new words, new phonetics, alphabet and all that, so it's difficult. The beauty about it with me and my husband is that we both speak English. Exactly. You know, and that's, I think maybe if we both didn't speak English, maybe we wouldn't have gotten married. For example, one of us didn't speak English.
Yeah, so how would we have communicated
in the first place?
How would we have become friends in the first place?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the main advantage. We both speak English, but as it relates to Twi, Patois, I think the Patois you get it mostly.
I get it, but you know, in Ghana we speak Pidgin. Like I always tell you this, my blockade or my barrier to Patois is Pidgin. If I'm able to forget my Pidgin right now, I will pick up Patois so easily. You get it?
So you are confusing both.
Yeah. Anytime I want to speak, because Pidgin is also Creole. Like I'll say it is Creole language. You know, it's Creole like
it's like
broken English.
I feel like in every country you have their own form of broken English.
Exactly. So anytime I'm speaking Patois, it feels like it is Pidgin. You get it? So I tend to mix both of them. Yeah. Otherwise, Patois would have been very easy for me to learn.
And as for me, the Twi is coming small. Like it's coming small. Like I am able to read some words and also I can understand some words. So maybe if you say a full sentence, I might know 2 words out of it and kind of like guess what you're saying.
Yeah, but in my view, I think Twi is very easy to learn. Like
easy?
Very, very easy to learn.
Babe, you've been learning Twi since birth.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not saying that I find it easy. No, I'm not saying I find it, because definitely I find it easy. But I think on a scale, like learning Twi is much easier as compared to other dialects.
Okay. Other dialects in Ghana, right?
In Ghana and even other places.
Oh, okay.
In other African countries, Twi is relatively easier to speak or to learn. You remember? I just taught you the Twi alphabet for a day, and then you just got it.
I got it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
Apart from language, as a form of communication, when it comes to language, there is tonation in language. Our tonation in Twi language, or even the way we speak English in Ghana, is quite different from in Jamaica.
Or patois is a bit more aggressive and loud.
Exactly. Yeah, and even tends to appear when you're speaking English. You get it. It affects your accent, your English accent.
Right.
You get it. Yeah. So sometimes I might find certain tonations offensive, but it's not necessarily offensive.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, it's just a way of them expressing themselves. In Ghana, we use please a lot. We'll say, "Oh, please drink from this cup. Please, can you take this for me? Please, can you do this for me?" Even some societies would insult you with please, starting with please. In Ghana, like please, you are mad. Please, you are silly. You get it? Yeah. So coming from such environments, when my wife speaks, my wife could say that, "What do you mean?" Like
I would say, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, no, even in English, you say, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
It's English language, which means that what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? But in Ghana, when someone tells you, "What do you mean?" Like, it's kind of disrespectful. You get it? It means that you like, what are you trying to disrespect me when someone says, "What do you mean?" You get it? So initially, I was like, "Why should you tell me what do you mean?"
Yeah, and these are actually some of the things that he mentions to me, and I try to like work on them, but it's sometimes difficult because this is what I'm used to as being just okay. So it's like a learning process to kind of realize that this makes him feel, kind of, if he feels some way about it. And I try to like work on it to like, rephrase certain things. For example, the "what do you mean?" He told me about it, and I'm like, why are you offended by that? Like, I just want to know what you meant. Like, that's all I want to know, But yeah, so it's definitely something that it happens, but we do work on it, talk about it, and try to move forward.
Understand each other.
Definitely. And understanding each other is a big thing when it comes to marrying someone who is from a different culture. I feel like even if you marry someone in your same country, you have to understand them on that level, just the same.
Because we're all from
different households.
Yeah, different families.
Right. Yeah. So.
And even all of us coming from different families, we all have individual personalities and individual characters.
Yeah.
So it still boils down to understanding the person that you're living with, not just the person being from another country or another tribe or another culture.
Yeah.
Food. Like when it comes to food in our marriage,
it's an everyday struggle.
Yeah. Because my wife will ask me, what do you want to eat? But what I really want to eat, I'm not sure she could do what I really want to eat. You get it? But nonetheless, I love Jamaican food.
That's not also it. It also is what's available, because we live in China and some of the things are not available, to be honest.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that is also part of it. You get it. Yeah, but I think people still find a way to, compromise and do Ghana food. It doesn't mean that we always have to eat Ghanaian food, but that is some of the things that I need to compromise on a daily basis. You get it? What I really want to eat. I also have to learn how to eat Jamaican food. Jamaican food is very beautiful. It's delicious and it's very spicy. The rice and peas, the dumpling, and all that. I have to learn how to eat it. I think Jamaican food and Ghanaian food are quite similar.
I wouldn't say they're similar. Where I would say they're similar on is like spice, like the fact that they're both well seasoned, because your method and end result is completely different than ours. We use coconut milk, you use tomato paste. We eat gravy, you eat stew, you know. So I feel like it's different, but also equally flavorful.
Yeah, but I think with the food aspect, I don't have so much challenge. It's just that, you know, when you are used to a certain food for a long time, you'd want to keep eating it, you know. Yeah, but I think these days I've also come to like Jamaican food, that I crave for Jamaican food too. So I think it's a very good thing.
Same with me. I've craved for Ghanaian food, especially the banku, the okra soup, the wachi, umutu.
Omutu.
Yeah, like I crave for it sometimes.
And the last time you're talking about kokonte.
Kokonte.
You don't know kokonte and you're talking about kokonte.
I thought it was kenke.
Kenke is different, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like kenke. But regardless though, I don't ask you what you want to eat for you to say, oh, maybe you want Jamaican food or you want Ghanaian food. I ask mostly because I care about you and I want to know, like, what do you feel like eating today?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, but you ask me, but I also look around. So sometimes I don't tell you what I really want to eat, but I tell you what I want to eat based on what we have available, and then you know what you are already exposed to with respect to the Ghanaian culture. You know? Yeah. So for example, when you ask me what I want to eat, I wouldn't tell you I want to eat fufu and ebunebun. I don't even know you don't know ebunebun.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so I can tell you I want to eat fufu and ebunebun. Like it wouldn't make sense. You get it? Yeah, so I have to say, so maybe rice, maybe curry chicken, or maybe rice and stew, because you know how to make tomato stew, or maybe jollof because you know how to make jollof already. You know, so those are some of the things. You get it? Yeah.
So you're saying that there are some difficult ones, or not difficult, but ones that I don't know.
Yeah.
That you might want to eat.
Yeah, like eto. You know eto.
No.
You know impoto. Yeah, like so.
Impoto. Is that porridge?
Impoto. Yeah. I think
it sounds like porridge.
Yeah, it's I
like
only
know.
Like,
I only know Tom Brown.
You know, yeah, Tom Brown is a breakfast meal. So that's it with the food. So if you're marrying someone from a different country, make sure you also love their food.
Not only that, you don't have to love their food, right? You just have to be open-minded and willing to try. My husband is open-minded. I'm also open-minded and willing to try new things. You know, when I met him, he wasn't the type of person to see a food and be like, no, I'm not going to try it, you know, because if that was the case, then maybe he wouldn't have been willing to try my food. Maybe I wouldn't have been willing to try your food. So the person has to be willing and open-minded enough to try. You know, for example, I saw okra soup and I was like, why is it green? I know it's made from okra, but at the same time, it looks so slimy, you know.
And it's still okra. So
yeah, but the way how it looks, for a person who has never tried it, you know, it will come across as, should I really try this? But when you try it, you know, because I'm willing, I tried it and I'm like, wow. You know, so the person has to be willing, not only that they love your food, because they won't love your food in the beginning.
They won't love your food in the beginning. I think there should be that, you know, desire. No, I think if you love someone.
Babe, even if when I tried banku the first time, I didn't like it. I was like, oh, this thing is sour. Do you remember the first time I tried it? I was like, this is sour, man. And you explained to me it's made from sour corn dough or fermented corn dough or something.
Yeah, fermented corn dough and cassava dough.
And I was like, let me try, let me keep eating. Instead of stopping at the first bite, I kept adding and I was like, wow, it's actually nice, you know.
But I still feel like when it comes to food, there are similar tastes. For example, East Asian foods have similar taste, not necessarily similar or same foods. They have similar taste or taste pattern.
Right.
Do you get it? But there are certain countries that do not have similar taste patterns when it comes to food. That I think will be quite difficult for for such people. But I feel like for Jamaican foods and Ghanaian foods, it has similar taste patterns. You get it? It's something that I cannot eat and be like, oh, it feels so different.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't feel so different.
Yeah.
Because it's almost similar to the taste to the taste that I'm used to. That is also one thing.
Yeah.
But if for example you are East African and you are marrying someone from East Asia, like you see that there's a vast difference in your food. Such people, you have a lot of work to do. I'm sorry.
I basically grew up in a single parent household with just my mom and my brother and sister. So for me, I didn't really grow up seeing mom, dad leading the family, providing for the family and stuff. And I feel like in all of Jamaica, I don't want to generalize and say in all of Jamaica, but for the most part, we have a lot of broken families. You know, a lot of single parents, absent dads, and I just feel like it plays a part of who I am today.
Yeah, but what do you think causes that? Like, why is it so prominent? Like you're saying.
I don't know. Maybe. Okay, obviously there's a starting point, and then I feel like people don't educate their kids to like break the trend, you know. Because for example, my mom also came from a broken family. I would refer to it as a broken family. You know, her dad married a few times. She has step parents. Then she also was a single parent. And I'm not sure it's intentional, but I feel like maybe because people go to church and they don't really practice and live out what the Bible says. And so when they leave church, they kind of go out and they do whatever they feel like, you know, because even, you know, like if you actually live by what the Bible says, you would find a wife, stick to your wife, and that's just it. But in Jamaica, you have a lot of men who find women, get them pregnant, and go to the next woman, get her pregnant. You know, you might have a daughter who end up getting pregnant because
it's a common thing.
Yeah,
but you know,
and the cycle continues.
Yeah, not to end what you're saying, but in Ghana, for me, what I remember growing up, you know, was that I saw a lot of families that were, you know, stuck together. Like you will see the father, and you will see the mother, you will see children. You get it? That was what I saw growing up, where the father is the provider, is the leader, you know. And even in certain homes, most of everyone like reveres or let me say honor the father like as the head, even the children. Do you get it? And then when the children want to go to school, they go to their father for school fees and some monies for feeding. You know, so they saw their father as my father can do everything for me.
I wish I could say that about mine.
Say, yeah, and they could say that their mother, my mother is at home when I'm hungry. I can get what I want to eat because my mom was going to prepare it for me. So that is like the family system that I came to. Like I saw when I was growing up. But these days in Ghana, such things, they are beginning to lose, you know, its value. Like I'm not seeing them anymore. Yeah.
But is it a case where the young people these days are not getting married? Because, you know, the young people these days, they're like single life, boss behavior, boss woman.
Yeah,
is it
that is also part. Also,
social media plays a big part in that.
Yeah, the emergence of social media and certain sickening lifestyle being projected. You get it? Yeah, certain lifestyles that are just being projected, not necessarily because they are good, but because, you know, young people of these days just love to do certain things. You get it? Yeah, so these days, the family system in Ghana is a bit shaky.
But before, that's what you remember?
Yeah, that's what I grew up seeing. Because I remember, you know, going to a friend's house, and then you see their father, you see their proper home, like a proper arrangement, you know. And my home too was proper. My father was available, my mom was available. Even though my father traveled long ago, but he was still involved in our lives. Right. He calls us, talks to us, provides for us, and all that. You know, so that's what I grew up seeing. These days I can't say same.
It's different for me because in my case, my mom wore two hats. She was the mom, she was the dad. I feel like she did both. She had to make so many sacrifices just so that we could progress in life because she had to be carrying the weight herself.
Of two parents.
My dad, he did do some, he did some things, but he wasn't there. He had his own family outside. He had another whole family outside, So in Jamaica, it's much different, and I'm not saying you don't have households where there are two parents, but it is very few.
Yeah. And when I was growing up too, I'm not saying that there wasn't such
single
household like you are saying, but I could barely hear of them. And actually, women who got pregnant for married men, such women, they, how do you call it? They didn't project themselves like,
they kind of hide
like a good, yeah, exactly. But these days, there's no shame at all in such stuff in Ghanaian community. Like, it's just normal. It has become normal, which is the change that I'm seeing.
Even when I was growing up and you got pregnant as a young girl, it's like, okay, just another one.
Yeah, but in Ghana, yes, even now, like I'm saying, it's like the world is getting, like, the bad behaviors in Jamaica they are talking about is becoming normal in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which used to be abnormal some time ago. Because if your kid, even if someone got pregnant without getting married, we saw it as a shame. But these days, nobody cares anymore. You get it? And even young ladies come on social media and defend themselves and all that. That is okay. But I'm just saying that there's been a shift, there's been a change in our family system in Ghana, which initially wasn't like that. You spoke about
before you even mentioned like the man providing it. Like I've not seen it. Like growing up. I wasn't seeing that where the man
just in your family or in other families.
In other families, because mostly it's single women, and the man is somewhere else.
Do you what?
I don't know. Or you can't even find him. You get pregnant and he just disappears. That's it. Yeah.
I get it. But you mentioned something about religion having impact in Ghanaian community, right?
Yeah, in Jamaican.
In Jamaica.
Yeah, because when I was in Ghana, I saw that you guys actively go to church and try to live an honorable life. Like you guys, you have manners. In Jamaica, basically, we have a lot of one-day Christians. It's like a terminology that people use often. You go to church on Sunday, you are holy, and on Monday in the week, you are a different person. And it tends to happen a lot. Obviously not the whole country, but it happens.
Yeah, but so what you mean is that what you mean is that religion could affect the family system in a country.
Yeah, definitely.
So if there's good Christianity or good Islam or good Islam in a country, it could affect the family system.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. But I wouldn't disagree or. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I would say that it has a role to play because in Ghana, because there's a lot of Christianity, there's a lot of Islam. I think our family system has been a little bit better. Yeah, I could boast of a better family system in the past when I was growing up, but now I feel like the Ghanaian community is slowly becoming like the Jamaica you are talking about.
Even though you say that, when I was in Ghana, I did not see that.
Yeah, but
I feel like it's still pretty good. The man knows his role, the woman knows her role. They go to church, they have their kids. The man sticks with the woman, and he doesn't really go out to say, "Oh, he's looking at another girl. He must get the other girl by force."
Yeah,
I didn't really see that, and I was there a month. So that I feel like that's decent time for me to observe certain things. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I feel like in Jamaica it's 20-80 versus in Ghana it's 80-20. You get me?
Okay, but a month it's a lot, but it's not so much to observe such detail. Yeah, I think that a lot of people in Ghana also do that, but it is not something that is open, like people openly,
Yeah,
boasting about it.
and
But these days, people, trust me, people on social media, people openly boast about it. I
wait
don't
a
know.
minute. You always talk about shame, right? And what I think is that because they don't want to bring shame and disgrace on their family, even if they're going to do things wrong, they do it subtle or they do it when no one is looking. And in Jamaica, a lot of people tend to have the attitude of they don't care, don't tell me what to do, let me do what I feel like. And it impacts society, and it will also impact you.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is that the Jamaica you're describing is what Ghana is becoming now. Like that is what it is becoming now.
It's becoming now.
So I wouldn't be surprised in 5-10 years coming, I would also be saying the same thing about Ghana as you are saying about Jamaica. Yeah, but what I would say is that like the family is the basic unit of every community. If the family is broken, the community is also broken. There will be immorality and a whole lot.
For your mom and dad, for example, what are some of the individual roles that they played for you growing up?
Yeah, my dad has traveled for more than 25 years now. Yeah, but I could still feel his impact in our lives. He tries a lot to provide for our fees, and all that. And my mom, where my dad falls short, she picks it up. You get it. She also tries to, provide for us. If she even pays our fees when my dad falls short. So I feel like they work hand in hand, my dad and my mom. You get it. And my mom also, because my dad is not physically present, she makes sure to guide us and to guide us in the right direction.
Right.
Imagine bringing up two strong boys as a woman. Like it's not easy, but my mom was able to do that. You get it. Yeah, but I could still feel the presence of my dad in my life, even though he wasn't physically present. He would call us and ask us, Wagwan, where are you in your education level? So he was always updated and always made sure that he's updated and made sure that he's giving us what we need at every point.
On my side, it's different. My mom, she wore two hats. So for most of it, she was the man and the woman. She made so many sacrifices so that we could get to where we need to go. My dad had another family outside, and like when I was on my journey to say I want to find a husband, I always said that I did not want a man like my dad. Like I always say that, specifically because I always had to call him for everything. So, for example, I'm going to school. I need to eat. You know what I need, but I would have to call you to say, "Oh, I need this. I need this." And when I call you, I'm saying the same thing every time. And the worst part about it is that a lot of the times I would not get it. And my mom, she had to be the one who she has to do it because I can't do without it. And so I always say I don't want to have a husband where I need to be asking him for things. I need to have a husband where he can understand that this is what he needs to do as a man. This is what he needs to do for his family. You get me? And you even mentioned that your dad will pay fees and stuff. On my graduation day, my high school graduation, my dad at the graduation, instead of him saying congratulations on your achievements, he came and he was like, I'm retiring soon and I don't have money, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you can say congratulations, maybe you can tell me this another day. And I remember it to this day because I felt so hurt at that time. He already wasn't even doing much. Remember, he has his family, so it's like he has to take care of his family over there and then give us some little crumbs, and I had to work. So your dad helped you with your fees, your mom helped you where you fall short. I worked in the first year, my mom helped me to pay the fees, and I think he put some part. After that, I worked, like I was working 40 hours, going to school full time,
And
You know?
it's even worse if you're in a country where there's no work. Like you can't find work.
Thankfully, in Jamaica we have call centers, so I was able to do that. And then my mom would help me where I fall short because fees are expensive. So she's already doing so much. She couldn't also take that, and I think that plays a big role in why a lot of young graduates these days, they don't even bother going to university because a lot of them have absent dads, absent parents, maybe absent mothers, and they just can't afford.
Yeah, but I think that even when a man and a woman divorces, the man should still take a role of the father, for his children.
Yeah.
Even though the best form is for the man and the woman to be in the same household. But even if the man and the woman is divorced, I feel like the man should still take responsibility for his children.
Yeah.
You get it. Pay their fees, make sure they are okay, make sure they sleep at they are well taken care of, they are well fed and all.
This is your offspring. Like, do you not care about your offspring? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, so I think fathers all around the world, we need to do better. When we talk about traditions and way of life, like in Ghana, there are so many traditions. There are so many things that are done, like in certain situations, like in situations like marriage, funeral, so many. Because in Ghana, there are so many ethnic groups, tribes, and a whole lot. So this tribe has a different way of life as compared to the other tribe. This ethnic group is different from the other one. So you would go for a funeral maybe in the eastern region, and you find that it's different from the funeral in Volta region because they do things way differently. You get it? Yeah. Do you have certain things like that in Jamaica?
Not really. If you go to a funeral in Kingston and you go to a funeral in Mobi, it's the same.
Yeah. So for example, okay, let's just center on this. For our marriage.
Yeah.
In Ghana, let me say if you were Ghanaian, all right, and I wanted to marry you. Yeah. I'm not so in depth in the marriage process in Ghana because I didn't marry a Ghanaian to go through that. But in Ghana, what I know is that before you marry someone, you first of all, you already know the lady, but first of all, you have to go for knocking. Like you send some snap and certain things just to go tell the family that, oh, I've seen your daughter and I'm interested in your daughter and I want to marry your daughter.
Will you have to bring gifts?
Yeah. Not necessarily gifts, but what I know is that you send snap.
What is snap?
Snap. It's
snap.
It's wine, alcoholic beverage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a snap. It's called knocking. It means that you've gone to knock on the door of the lady, and his family, you've made her family aware that I love your daughter and I want to be with your daughter. And then next thing, what the family does is that they ask their daughter, when their daughter confirms, they will write certain things down called the dowry. The dowry are things that the man is supposed to provide to their family.
Provide to the family.
Like those rights is some people call list. It's a list of things. And in certain cultures.
My question is, don't want to cut you, but what if you go there and they say no, you cannot marry my daughter?
Then what can you do?
You can't do anything, even though you guys are in love.
Yeah, and if the family disagrees, you can basically not do much unless you go do something with a lady. You travel with a lady and go marry yourself without the family consent. Because in the Akan culture, you don't just marry the lady; you marry her family too. So if her family is not agreeing to your marriage, then that will be a problem for you. Do you get it?
I get it.
So like I was saying, they'll give you a list. That's the dowry. So the man has to provide every single detail.
And what if you're not able to provide these things?
You need to go provide. You need to find a way. So sometimes the list is too much for the man. The man could negotiate
Okay.
with the family. But if the family is not willing to negotiate with you, that will be a big problem for you. That is how certain men go for loans to go marry, because you need to provide the things they are asking for. You get it? Yeah, those things include the bride price.
We don't have dowry. We don't have that.
Have bride price too.
No, we don't have that. We don't have those things. You can go to the mom, the dad to say, I want to marry your daughter. These are my intentions. but not everyone do that. It's not mandatory, as opposed to you, it's mandatory, you know. And for example, previously I was talking to you about broken families where maybe dad is absent, mom is absent, or something. So you can see how it would be much different for me to come to the man of the household to say, I want to marry your daughter, when he's not there. Do you get it? So
Yeah, but
that also is something. But if it's a case where both parents are there, you can definitely do it. But it's
Okay.
not 100% mandatory, where in Ghana it is. Yeah.
Yeah, in Ghana, even when both parents are not there, for example, if the man is absent, the girl's uncle could.
Let me ask a question. You know, like in Jamaica, a man proposes. So is it that you go to the family house before you propose to the girl?
No. No. So, you and the girl, you have to agree.
So like you talk about it.
Because when you go to the family will ask the girl if she knows you. You get it? She knows you. It's not literal, like she knows you like a friend or something. She knows you like you and him have a certain kind of love relationship. You get it? So in that, the family asking you that question is what brings in whether the guy has proposed to you, individually. Because the proposal basically means that the proposal is some kind of private thing between you and the.
The proposal is not really you getting down on one knee and saying, will you marry me? It's like you had a prior conversation and say, okay, these are my intentions for you. I would love to marry you. What do you think about that? And you kind of talk about it.
Exactly. So that's why I said the family asking you if you know the man, is they trying to
see whether you are not you have had this conversation.
Exactly.
I get it.
Whether both of you are on the same table. You get it? Yeah, so the family finds out. So you have to do that with the lady before you go and see the family. Because I told you that you marry the lady, you also marry her family. So you have to make sure the lady agrees and her family also agrees.
I get that.
Yeah. So you going to in Akan culture, you going to marry a lady without going to see their family is termed illegal.
Illegal. Wow.
Yeah.
We actually did have that conversation to say, are we on the same page? Do you want to get married? We had that conversation, but based on circumstances, we didn't do like the knocking, right? We did the knocking.
No, we didn't do the knocking because you're not Ghanaian. If you are a man and I was a lady, you would have done the knocking.
I would do the knocking.
If you were a man, a Jamaican man, and I was a Ghanaian lady.
Oh, I would do the knocking.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. The man is supposed to go do the knocking, but there was no knocking and stuff in Jamaica, so I had to speak to mommy and daddy. Yeah, exactly. So if you were the man, you would have come to do knocking to my parents, and then you provide a list and all that I was talking about.
I get that.
So when the list is provided, when the family agrees, now a date will be scheduled for the traditional ceremony, marriage ceremony.
And you only have one ceremony.
I'm coming. Well, the traditional ceremony, that is the marriage. Like that is the cultural marriage. That is the traditional marriage. That is the marriage itself. Where the father of the woman openly gives out her daughter to you for marriage, saying that you've satisfied whatever the family requested of you.
Kind of feels like you are buying her.
Feels that way, but that is culture. That is how it is. The man is giving it in Jewish tradition and all that. They do something similar. Yeah. So the man is giving you her daughter in house of marriage. So when you divorce the woman, you're supposed to bring the woman back to her father, because it's the father that gave you her daughter in the first place. You get it? And the family is supposed to return the schnapp that you brought.
The wine or
the wine, the schnapp, the knocking that you brought. The family is supposed to provide it back to you, saying that you guys are separated. Exactly. So that is how the whole process is. That's the summary of it. You get it?
Quite different.
Yeah, in Jamaica, it's not even quite different. It's not quiet. It's different.
Yeah, it's different because we don't have all those dramatic things. Not dramatic things, but we don't have all those things. And also, Do you have people who just go and sign papers to say we're married without having a ceremony?
Yeah. So with the traditional marriage, you guys are supposed to be a traditional marriage, but these days people have made it so big. The traditional marriage is just I think you go to the lady's house. You know, they just the elders of the house, they sit down just to give the daughter to the man. That is a traditional marriage, and then you guys can go sign legally.
So the traditional marriage is done at home, not at like a church.
It's supposed to be done at home. That's the traditional marriage.
Oh,
but
okay.
these days we've adapted foreign culture where people still go on to do white wedding because
that's
we
what
have
we do.
Christians
White
who
wedding.
want their pastors to bless the marriage.
Yeah.
You get it? Yeah. That is another thing. You can choose not to do the white wedding at all, and the marriage will still be legally accepted, and your family will still accept it after the traditional marriage.
We have white weddings in Jamaica. White weddings, and you go to the church, right? And you don't necessarily have to do it at a church. You have some people, maybe they will do it like at the beach side, but the pastor will come.
Yeah, the venue could differ.
Right, bless the marriage and all that, say their vows, and then later they will move on to the reception where they would kind of like party, dance.
Yeah,
and
that's
eat
quite
food.
similar to that is the party part, you know. Yeah, but there are a lot of people who don't go through all that. They just go to the law courts. You know, there are certain law courts that they even have officiating ministers at the law courts, and both of you, he just bless it for you, and then you guys sign, and then you are done.
We also have people who do that, just go and sign the papers, because these days people are starting to realize how expensive it is to actually do a wedding.
Exactly.
So they will just go and sign the papers.
So it's just a matter of choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go on to funeral. Do you guys have any funeral rites, like certain special things you do to bury the dead?
We just have 9 nights, which is like 9 nights. So after 9 nights, after you die, we'll have like a gathering.
For 9 days? For 9 nights?
Yeah. No. It's after you died 9 days. So you died 9 days ago. Right? And this happens. This event happens.
Okay.
And basically loved ones come and gather. You can light candles, you can talk about the person. There'll also be food there, but it's really a time where all your loved ones can come and grieve, and it's usually done like at home. Like maybe you lived in this house, they will come to this house, you know, and kind of just be with you in the moment of, you know.
All right. We have something like this. That one is called wakekeeping. I think it's 7 days. I don't really know.
I think it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, but I think it's 7 days after the person is dead. I'm not sure. So if you're in the comment section, you can just let me know.
Yeah.
All right. I think 7 days or so.
So after the 9 nights now, you'll be planning a funeral, and then you'll just have the funeral at church. It's usually at church.
Okay.
And then from the church, maybe you have like a family land where you want to be buried, or a private place, cemetery. Then they will transport the body to that place, and you can choose to go there. Usually close family members and some other people can go. Not everyone who comes to the funeral will go, you get me? And basically the pastor can also be there to, you know, when the body is going into the hole and all of that. And usually at that side there is some food too. Okay. At the church there is usually no food.
Yeah, but in Akan culture and certain cultures, like certain tribes and ethnic groups in Ghana, like there are a lot of things, little things that go on, just not just the surface things you're talking about.
Yeah, but I remember too, I went to that Ghanaian funeral, and you guys were all like dressed in black and red. Like everyone was in black or red, black, red, black, red. If you go to a Jamaican funeral, someone before when they die, they could say, for example, my mom always says, Tia, at my funeral, I want people to wear colorful colors, like no black. So when she dies, right, I would be the one who now have to tell all her friends and associates and all that, these are the colors we're wearing, you know, as opposed to when I went to that Ghanaian funeral, everyone was in red and black, and it kind of seemed like it was mandatory. Because even though my mom says colorful colors, you might go to another person's funeral and it's black, you know.
Yeah. In Ghana, the black and red is their funeral clothes, unless the person who died made a special request. Yeah, which normally doesn't happen. Like with respect to the dressing, like a Ghanaian will not say that when I'm dying wear this. It's not normal. It's not common. Maybe he would have other requests, but not with respect to clothing. You get it? So in Ghana, when someone dies, the clothing is normally black or red.
I think you have a white and black one too.
I'm coming. The red one is called cobre, and there's a black one. The white one mostly is for people who grew very old.
Oh,
that one is celebration of life. Like they grew very old, they were satisfied with life. That one is celebration of life. Normally people wear white to celebrate the person's life. But when the person was not so old, and they think that could live life much longer, we say we wear black to grieve to say the person has left us.
Too soon.
Yeah, too soon. But even when the celebration of life, we still cry because the person has left. But it's kind of celebration. That's how the difference between the white and black, and then the black and then the red, comes in. You get it? Yeah. But with Ghanaian funeral, there are so many things. Like there's something called in Sawabo. Like people come and gift those who are organizing their funeral. They give them some money just to help support the expenses or the debts that they incurred during the period of funeral. There are certain activities that go on. I'm not so in depth in that. So if you're in the comment section, if you know a lot of things about Ghanaian funeral,
and if you
can just write it in the comment section. All right.
And if you also know anything about Jamaican funeral, you can also comment it down below. What I do know as it relates to Jamaican funeral, if you were in a certain organization, for example, you're a police, corrections officer, soldier, military, police, all those people, you would have like a gun salute at your funeral.
People. You remember when the funeral went? The person was a retired army officer. You saw some police people came. Army guys, old retired army officers.
We also do that in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And you'll have people from their workplace there in like uniform, like around the casket. They would be the ones who carry the caskets. Yeah.
All right. So I think, in my opinion, I think Jamaican funeral and marriages are much more
different,
westernized. Yeah, but in Ghana, our ceremonies are deeply rooted in culture and tradition. You will find certain things that are still being practiced, even though due to technology and social media and all that. But there are certain things that we still practice in Ghanaian culture, and we don't necessarily copy the West. But there are certain Western cultures that have been adopted, but the deep-rooted tradition, we still uphold them.
So this has basically been a very insightful conversation. Tell us what you think in the comment section, and if we missed anything, definitely leave a comment and let us know.
All right, don't forget to subscribe. And this is Rich and Anna. See you in our next video.
Bye.